Creator inside me. Who shall we we got? Omnipotent, Almighty Father, the Father Abraham, the Father Isaac and Jacob. Yeah, why would we play with? He said this up for the nation, covenant back in our face. We just don't care what we face. Well, we gon' go, we gon' trust in his word, stay on road, trust in no turns. I said he said that he gon' learn. Put where your things are, they all about you burn. Past overcoming, got the blood on me. I'm forgetting this, I didn't go, I got it on me. I didn't leave, I got this piece, I got this dub on me. It's the kingdom of y'all, I got the bub on me. Almighty, 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 Creator.
A little technical difficulty. For some reason, it seems as though the internet is moving real slow tonight on our YouTube, on our computer.
His blood is inside. We know that it works. Can't for many years now we back. Mind been renewed from this world we detached. The judgment is coming by his will, that's a slap. The wilderness is coming by his hand, that's a fact. The ark of the covenant, I be willing not to spell. Where he gon' get us? Inside in the land, you was sold the blood, you gon' ride, you gon' ride. Babylon falling, it all gon' go wrong. He no commandments, we go home. Before you serve me, go serve him on that throne. Walk as he walk, I'ma walk, I'm a clone. He gon' get us. Keep commandments, he gon' fight for. I'ma see out here the light for. Rhyme home, blow the right Almighty,
Almighty name is strong.
Creator. His blood inside me, inside me, inside me. We know that it works. Almighty,
Hezekiah Almighty.
Shark powered the
Welcome to the Hebrew state of being. I am your humble servant and host for tonight in a biblical sense. I am Kayel. In the building, I got my butter pecan, my real Miss Artist 28, art by Sharonda, and my young and Bella song, Young Hebrew, is in bed getting ready for school tomorrow. So our lesson tonight in this Wednesday is cultural appropriation. Our title is going to be Fear of the Unknown. Too many times our community falls prey to fear. When I say fall prey to fear, I mean we are moved based on fear. We don't move based upon a plan, an organization, as a group. We have many pockets of grassroots organizations trying to do their best in our communities, but they're not together. They're dealing with so many different aspects of our appropriation. I see Brother Edon is made in the building. Uncle Cyril Neville is in the building. My rib is in the building. So, we have been moved by fear. It seems as though that's the only thing that gets us going, whether it be George Floyd, whether it be Houghton Sterling, whether it be Trayvon Martin, whether it be Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. It seems as though since the 60s and the assassinations, the only way that we really move is if there is some bloodshed, one of our people die. We don't come together in these organizations, or we don't come together in our community for fear. Many of us as Black men growing up know that walking with more than two of you and together is liable to get you pulled over, get you, even if you're walking, get you questioned where you're going, what you're doing in this neighborhood, when you start to have three or more walking together. There's an unseen hand that makes us feel these ways, right? There's historical things that have happened that don't have to happen again for us to understand what the result if we decide to stand up in some particular form or fashion. Fear has been the thing to either shut us down or move us. We have not used fear in its proper manner. The only fear we should have is of the Most High and what it can do unto us. The understanding of the scriptures and its prophecies being played out right now in front of your eyes. So that fear is what I want to discuss tonight. See, fear of the unknown is the next part. As we are walking into this November 5th, people are afraid of the unknown. They may say the possibility of Project 2025. They may say the possibility of CBDCs, global economics, and us being swallowed up into this global scenario through the other parties. The fear of the unknown. Fear is when you don't know what's next. I'm telling you that fear of the Most High allows you to know what's next. Say it again. When your fear is properly given in the place that it should be, it answers your other questions. It answers your other unknowns. Fear of the Most High, then knowing the Most High and how he operates, now allows you to look at the world and all the fear mongering it's doing and understand from where it comes from and where it's trying to move you and not be moved by it. When you take the fear away from the world, when you take the ability of the world to make you scared of its unknown or of its problem that it has created, you can see it in a whole different light. You can see it for its directional aspects of where it's trying to move you. When you have the fear of the Most High, and you get to know what he wants and requires. And then you see what he says for the ones that do not. And then you see these prophecies happening to those same people. You should not have to be a rocket scientist to understand that. It's very simple. He has laid a law. Some follow, some do not. The ones that do not fall into the prophecies that are coming. The ones that do fall into different prophecies. Prophecies of salvation. Prophecies of covering. Prophecies of grace and mercy. So there's a line. And if you don't know the Most High, then you don't know the line of Exodus chapter 19. That's the line. And then everything else falls out as I just explained. Understanding that, it should release a person of fear a little bit, right? You should be able to see where destruction is coming from. You should be able to see who's being destroyed. You should be able to see why they're being destroyed. And you should easily be able to say, okay, well then I want the opposite. Right? I want the opposite of that. And then it lays it out for you what the opposite is. Tonight, we're going to discuss what happens when the prophecies come, when governments fall, when dollars fall, when new concepts, new regimes, new dollars, new world orders arise. Everyone has the question of what's going to happen to me, my community, when this new world order happens. Will I be able to hold my home? Will my money matter? Do I need to switch to gold? You're having all these questions, and it creates these anxieties, which turns into fears. And the same people that's causing this problem, I see Jerry in the building, the same one that's causing these problems didn't give you what they or you think is a solution, but it's really where they want you to go so that they can keep you enslaved. Freedom is understanding. I see my brothers in the building, hearts in the building. Shalom alaikum, my brother. Assalamu alaikum. So as we can see that the prophecies are clearly dealing with these people, and there's clearly a covering for us, and there's clearly the line that we see. So now some of our fear can be taken away, because when you take the fear away, you know that something has to happen. You know you got to fight. You know at the 3 o'clock, the bell's going to ring. You got to fight. You take the fear away. You start strategizing. This is no longer something that I can avoid. This is absolutely going to happen. What is the strategy? See, the strategy that the Most High has for us is that we need to understand that you're going to be able to rebuild. Tonight is understanding that no matter what fate happens to this United States or happens to this global order, that you are going to rebuild. I know y'all are so scared of rebuilding because you're so used to being fed a certain way. I see Jeanette's in the building. You're so used to being fed a certain way. Look, my example tonight for you guys, my real world example to go along with this scripture tonight is Botswana. Botswana in Africa, South Africa, right there by Angola, right there on the coast. I mean, it's landlocked. So Botswana in 1966 was all flat. I see Native Niji in the building. Botswana was absolutely flat. It's a desert. They got their independence from Britain in 1800. I'm gonna read this to you guys. But understand that from 1966 to 2024, Botswana is one of the richest and upcoming nations in the world. Yes, for my people that know a little bit about Botswana, yes, they have a natural resource there called diamonds. I want you to know that in this city of New Orleans, we have natural resources that equate to those same diamonds. I I'm about to do a mind trick with you guys tonight. Because I'm walking you through this. I'm taking 15 minutes to get into this because the scriptures, yes, you're going to know. These scriptures you're going to be familiar with. But I need you to understand Botswana. I need you to understand how we're going to rebuild. I need you to understand that there's no fear. I need you to understand that you should be jumping for joy at the possibility and the opportunity of what happens after all this falls. That it doesn't matter what happens on the 5th of November. There are prophecies that have been laid that this nation is not going to make it. And it's for your benefit. If you put your fear away from this world and what this nation says and what this international talking heads are saying, and put your fear in your creator. Let's go to Botswana. I'm gonna go real quick on that before I get into the scriptures. Yeah, thank you, my brother. See, Botswana, officially a Republic of Botswana, formerly known as Bacchanalland. Now, y'all know we got a Bacchanal here on Poland. I want you to understand how you have no idea of how closely knit we are to this situation that happened with Botswana. It says, is a landlocked country in South Africa. Botswana is topographically flat with below sea level. Approximately 70% of its territory is part of the Kalahari Desert. It is bordered by South Africa to the south and southeast, Namibia, and to the west and north, Zambia, to the north, and Zimbabwe, and to the northeast, with a population slightly over 2.4 million. Peak that, 2.4 million people, and comparable land area of France. Botswana, a very small country in Africa that's got 2.4 million, is equal to France, is what they're telling you. They say comparable. The space, the amount of space that they have is comparable to France land area. Botswana is one of the most sparsely populated countries in the world. It is essentially a nation state of the Swana people, who constitute nearly 80% of the population. The Swana ethnic group are descendants mainly from Bantu-speaking peoples. Now, Bantu would be Hebrew. I hope y'all follow me enough that I've already explained that to you thoroughly, how the Bantu are we were the ones that came down from Jerusalem into the interior of Africa. We are different than the Africans. The Africans have a different skull than the Negroes, than the Bantu. We have a whole different phenotype. All right, this is facts. Look it up. Please Google it. I'm a liar. You go and Google it. See if Africans and Negroes are the same. I want you to put it in there. Does Negroes and Africans have the same skull? If you think we all, Anyway, so Botswana, so it says, Bantu-speaking peoples who migrated into South Africa, including modern Botswana, in several ways before AD 600. When did our temple collapse? 589 BC. The second one by the Romans was in 70 AD, but the Persians, Nebuchadnezzar, sacked us in 589. We started going down into Africa. We wasn't going to Europe. We had a certain thing about us. We matched more. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so it says in 1885, the British colonized the area and declared it protectorate named Bacchanalland as a part of decolonization of Africa. Bacchanalland became an independent Commonwealth Republic under its current name on the 30th of September 1966. So from 1885, they did a whole bunch of work, right? Until 1966, when they was able to actually get themselves formulated. Since then, it has been a parliamentary republic with a consistent record of uninterrupted democratic elections, although the Botswana Democratic Party has been the only ruling party from independence until 2024. As of 2024, Botswana is in its is the third least corrupt country in Africa, according to Corruption Perceptions Index published in Transparency International. So they're saying, according to corruption, they're the third least corrupt nation. So why is that important? Third least corrupt nation. And if you watch anything on Botswana, they'll tell you that this corruption only seeped in the last 10 to 15 years. Once they built this infrastructure on righteousness. That's right. See, the Botswanans, the Bantu people, decided to build their new Botswana on righteousness with no corruption. They were frugal, as they state, on how they built it in the beginning, to the point that they are one of the richest nations. From 1966, which is comparable to us getting our civil rights. Oh, yeah, I'm bringing it there, right? So when you look at a place that got their own independence and was able to use their natural resources, which Louisiana, which New Orleans has immense natural resources, from the oil to the port. So I want you to understand that if we, as the people here, nation fall, government fall, the nation don't, the port don't go nowhere. Oh, and if we take over the port, I'm not trying to get nobody to kick in my door. I'm just trying to explain that when you are of the land, when nations and ruling classes leave that land, you still have that land. You still have the riches of the land. See, I know we've been po here. We got our famous sandwiches, po' boys in this bad boy, right? I see you in the building, Alana. See, I know we known for being broke all the time. I know we got the word economics. But I'm telling you that the land in which we come from here in New Orleans, Chapatulas, is rich. It's ours. You know what I'm talking about? This is all the works of what the Most High can do. Not what man's hand can do, not what I can do, not what we can do as a collective here. This is what the Most High can do for the children that are coming back into his law, that are being righteous. Botswana is a mixed population. It ain't just Hebrews. They mixed with the Africans there. They are fully amalgamated together. The Negroes and the Africans. And they're built on honesty with their natural resources. Their own government from within their people, of righteous people, built what was a desert into a metropolitan. A metropolitan. Let's go to Ezekiel. Chapter 37. Instagram gonna cut me off in an hour, and I've already used about 20. I want to make sure this is understood. Ezekiel chapter 37, verse 21. And it reads, "And you shall declare this to them, thus says the Most High, I am going to take the Israelite people from among the nations they have gone to, and gather them from every quarter and bring them to their own land. I will make them a single nation in the land on the hills of Israel, and one king shall be king of them all. Never again shall they be two nations, and never again shall they be divided into two kingdoms." Verse 23. "Nor shall they ever defile themselves by their fetishes and their abhorrent things, and by their other transgressions. I will save them in all their settlements where they sinned, and I will cleanse them. Then they shall be my people, and I will be their Most High. Come on now. Do you think the Most High is going to negotiate with the UN? Is he going to negotiate with the Crown? Is the Most High going to negotiate with the presidents, prime ministers, on what they believe righteousness is? Because the Most High is saying that he's going to gather us from all the places that we sinned in, right? That eventually we're going to go to our place. But trust me, there's a process that's happening along the way. This is not a snap thing. His people aren't going to be the ones just. If you don't, or you don't have an appreciation for understanding your ability to control your life, for you to control your fate, do you want to be begging before the Most High the day of and trying to reconcile what you've done? Or do you want to change your behavior? Do you want to change your spirit? Do you want to change your aura to be something that is already acceptable, for a path to be already laid for you, for a highway, a byway, for an opportunity, like Botswana? The Most High says, I'm going to cleanse you from your fetishes and your abhorrent things. You don't think he's doing that to me right now? You think the Most High dropping me 16 and a half feet, the Most High putting upon my spirit to do what I'm doing? Do you think that that's not the Most High doing that? Do you think that that's me? My name is Kayel when I come on here. My birth name was Glenn Jones. See, Glenn has a whole different taste. Glenn has a whole different concept of what he likes and what he wants and what would make him happy. Kayel is happy with what the Most High provides. You get the change in the spirit, same body, priorities change. I see Bird in the building, Jawad. The priority change. And Glenn ain't went nowhere. Trust me, he ain't went nowhere. I am cleansing because the Most High has made me, has put me in a position for me to make the decision, and has given me the spirit to enjoy it. This is not by my hand. This is not what Glenn would have chosen. Glenn tried and did so many things and dedicated himself, sacrificed so many things, good women, good people, a whole bunch of things for the things that he thought he wanted was best for him. In my understanding of Exodus chapter 19, righteousness and laws and benefits and the downfalls of it, as a man, I put away childish things. Let's go to Jeremiah 31. The Most High is cleansing you. He's preparing you. Especially if you're on this channel, especially if you're getting wind of this. Jeremiah 31, verse 10. And it reads, hear the word of the Most High, O nations, and tell it to the isles afar. Say, he who scattered Israel, Yasharallah, will gather them and will guard them as a shepherd his flock. For the Most High will ransom Jacob, redeem him from one too strong for him. They shall come and shout on the heights of Zion, radiant over the bounty of the Most High, over new grain and wine and oil. So again, when the Most High is speaking to these nations and speaking to the fact that he has scattered us, he's telling these nations, look here, don't get beside yourself and think that you've done something. This is a prophecy that had to be fulfilled. You were the tool. In that process, you had an opportunity to do right. You chose not until the very end. Verse 10 again. Hear the word of the Most High, O nations, and tell it in the isles, UN, afar, and say, he who scattered Yasharallah will gather them and will guard them as a shepherd his flock. So when these things are falling and the world is telling us to be afraid, and the world is telling us that we should be concerned about some enemy that it has and it's not our enemy, we should be coming back into the Most High, coming back into the people in our homes, coming back to our family. I'm talking about the moms, the dads, the cousins. I'm talking about once you get that household in, you're supposed to spread that love and that aura around as they receive it, because you are an example. As this world continues to fall down, they're going to look at you and say, oh, Horace was saying the right thing. Oh, Tuffy told me this. I remember them saying this to me, even though I pushed them away, even though I told them I wasn't him, even though Tia, they didn't hear your positivity when you were trying to give it. They thought it was all negative. When these nations are starting to fall, they're going to see that righteousness and the people that's about righteousness seem to have figured it out somehow. They seem to figure out where to go and what they need to do and how they're going to prosper from something that looks like gloom and doom and hell and damnation. But it seemed like they're striving. Oh, there's a time for that. I mean, right now, most people would say for the last 20 years, righteousness hasn't been winning too many battles, that these hellish, iniquitous people have been winning. That the liars, the backstabbers, the murderers, all of them been winning. All the cheats. So there's got to be a time for the turnaround, right? So let's go to Psalms 112. Psalms 112, verse 7. And it reads, he is not afraid of evil tidings. His heart is firm. He trusts in the Most High. His heart is resolute. He is unafraid. That's what we're dishing out. Tonight, understanding that all the things that the world is afraid of, you should see as an opportunity. Everything that the world is shuddering about, everything that everyone's like, you got to do something because come November 5th, you got to make this. And man, what's going to happen if Project 225 happens? What's going to happen if Kamala is it? Unafraid. All of this is going to happen to their debacle. There's not one of them that's a leader that can possibly lead to the Most High's prophecies. I don't think any of us would say they got somebody, one of them is a holy person, and one of them actually consorts prayer and listens to. Come on now. Now, one of those candidates is a person that I would believe is getting the word of the Most High before they're making a decision. No. Not any form of fashion. Be unafraid of people that know not of their fate or is absolutely careless of their fate. Be unafraid. It says in verse 7, he is not afraid of evil tidings. Doesn't matter what they say. If you got to know that you got a way, no matter what happens, that you got a way. The Most High said it in Ezekiel, he said it in Jeremiah. Now we're in Psalms, and it's telling you that the man that understands these things, the woman that understands these things, they're unafraid, that their trust is in the Most High, that he knows that the Most High is moving for their good. I see a Coty in the building. That the Most High is moving for their good. All of this is opportunity. Botswana, 1966 to 2024, is now their own people. They are 2.4 million. They are rich. All of them, they pay. Nobody pays for school. Actually, they get paid to go to school. Nobody pays for healthcare. All the healthcare is paid. They want to go to any nation to study abroad. Their government pays for it. Their founding fathers in 1966, when we were fighting and mourning the death of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, they got their independence where they cut a deal, where they said, well, look here, we don't want to be under this old house. This old house is falling. By the way, the old house that was over them was, y'all famous Rhodes Awards that we have here. Rhodes Scholars, Cecil Rhodes. He was the one that was colonizing that area up until that point. They went the 1800s. That's when they went to Britain and said, we'll cut a deal with you. You can have half of our natural resource, and we get half. They got diamonds, the natural resource. We got oil, we got the port. Cuttable deal. Oh, I'm talking some wild stuff tonight, Coty. I'm explaining that if you're not afraid of this government falling, you may find that the land that you own is rich enough. You may find that when everything does settles and you find yourself amongst your people and you organize under righteousness as Botswana did, and you create your own system, whether it be democratic, public, you create a system that benefits the people. And you sell your natural resource of pork. You sell the oil. You sell you have no idea how much money is in our river parishes, how much they charge barges and boats to come here. See, not only do you get to charge to drop your goods off at the port, but we charge you for docking your boat on our land, in our water. You think, Botswana did it because they had diamonds. I'm telling you that this rich land that the Most High has provided for us is comparable to their diamonds. You can't get up to Mississippi and sell your goods without coming through us. I'm telling you that if you release your fear of worrying about what is going to happen after your daddy dies, what's going to happen after your mama dies, what's going to happen after your pimp dies, after your Uncle Sam dies. If you understand and put your fear in the Most High, not in the fear in what people call unknowns, knowing that the Most High has you, knowing that the Most High says, have no fear. My children that choose my law, that choose me, I'm making a way for them. This is being done for them. Oh, I'm going to prove that out in a second, that these nations being destroyed is being done for us. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 1, verse 33. Proverbs 1, verse 33. And it reads, but he who listens to me will dwell in safety, untroubled by the terror of misfortune. What you think the misfortune is? The prophecies. The Most High says, but he who listens to me. Exodus chapter 19, his law, being righteous. There is no fear, but there is opportunity. The opportunity to be sovereign under the Most High and to do something righteous. You cannot do that when evil is ruling. Evil has to be broken. It has to be put on its knees. It has to understand its place. That's the Most High's job. Our job is to know his law and to institute his law with our family, with our extended family, with our loved ones. Stand on that. As we prosper and as they fall, they migrate to our rules. They come closer to understanding how our law is beneficial. You ain't got to be stamping the grounds and saying you better do. This is love. What the Most High is going to do is going to be the stomp in the ground. What the flags in the ground, the Most High is going to do all that with his prophecies. He's going to let everybody know what's right and what's wrong. You just got to be the example. You got to be able to lead. You got to be able to organize. You got to be able to institute his righteousness as this thing breaks down. Botswana did from the time of 1966 to 2024. They are self-sufficient, sovereign, their own culture, their own history. They built in a desert. In a desert. They didn't have the fear of the unknown. They had been under Cecil Rhodes' colonization so much, and it was so horrible that they was ready to run into being righteous because they were fully immersed in evil. So are we. So they put that pacifier in your mouth called minimum wage. So they gave you that pacifier and told you that you could, better yet, that carrot told you can get an education. You could be learning. Remember our boys, E.D. Du Bois? They turned us away from Carver, turned us away from agriculture, turned us away from owning the land, and told us we needed to get an education to be in this new system. Well, now the system is failing, and the land is still here. The land is still here. The people are still here. Amazing how that happens. Amazing. But y'all scared of the pacifier and the carrot you never got leaving you. Have no fear. The title of the lesson is Fear of the Unknown Keeps You in Slavery. Fear of the unknown keeps you in slavery. Psalms 55, verse 22. Psalms 55, verse 22. Y'all should be looking at world news in a whole different light. You should be looking at world news as, man, the opportunities is about to hit. It's about to be a time. Man, look at here. Keep telling all your people about righteousness because, trust me, a place that had diamonds in it had the opportunity of being so wrong. They had the opportunity. You understand, they was cutting people's hands off in these diamond mines. Psalm 55, verse 22. His talk was smoother than butter, yet his mind was on war. His words were more smoother than oil, yet they were drawn swords. This is what your government is going to be in this hour as it falls. Your government, your structure is going to talk smoother than butter, yet their mind will be on war, and their words will be smoother than oil, yet they will be drawn swords. See, the United States has to flip this dollar and has to flip its gross national product, which is you niggas. Let me say it again. United States has to do a major flip to go into their new digital world order. And that is they have to flip the dollar and flip you niggas. Because see, you niggas is the same ones that the Africans sold to them as a product to build this nation. You ain't know? You ain't know? I told you earlier that niggas and Negroes and Africans have different skulls, different, phenotypes, the whole nine. Back to, in order for the United States to flip this whole thing and stay in power and keep them thing going, they got to flip you Negroes and they got to flip their dollar. In order to flip the dollar, they just got to connect with the corporations. That's the easy part. See, the corporations, they already figured that out during COVID. They already came together and decided what corporations would accept their new digital currency from the United States. They pact with, them essential workers that was going on during what you call the wars that made the change in companies over that they all the people had to have that jab. Those companies that are in accordance, which was the same thing that happened during slavery here, when you had the House of d'Orleans and you had the House of London and you had the House of Burgundy. You had these houses that were colonizing this place. So that's why when they took over the tribes that was here, that they were going to accept, they had to accept slavery. You Negroes, they had to accept that slavery was the gross national product of this nation. You had to understand that. So they're going to flip with these corporations, and the corporations are only going to accept this digital coin that will be able to track you and all of your funding. They'll know everything about it. So that's how they're going to flip that. Now, you Negroes, I'm going to get you Negroes on board. Y'all been talking reparations, huh? I might give it to you in digital coins. See, that way, we gotta usher y'all in. Because I need y'all. Y'all my money. Y'all my workers. Y'all my young engineers, my young entrepreneurs, my young geniuses. Need y'all. So they're gonna talk some real smooth words. It's gonna be butter like, baby. It's gonna be smoother than oil, baby. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. You gonna not even know that that's what they're pitching. Most High says here in Psalm 55, verse 22, his talk was smoother than butter, yet his words was on war. His words were smoother than oil, yet there were drawn swords. Verse 23, cast your burdens to the Most High, and he will sustain you. He will never let the righteous man collapse. He's not gonna let us collapse. That's the promise through all prophecies, through all things that are said through this scripture. The righteous man, the Most High, will not forsake. And it says, verse 24, for you, O Most High, will bring them down to the nethermost pit. Those murderous, treacherous men, they shall not live out half their days, but I trust in the Most High. Shaddai. That's what we're talking about. We're going to Jeremiah 30 as our last scripture for the night. I was trying to keep it under an hour, but was not able to, so we lost everybody on Instagram. I thank you, Coach T, for coming in on YouTube. Yeah, Instagram only gives me an hour, so yeah, it cuts me off. So Jeremiah chapter 30, as we've explained to you guys, right, that the Most High does not rock with these evil nations, and that all that he's doing is for our benefit. All that you're seeing with their fear mongering of what's going to happen here, are we going into a third world war? We're going to start at verse 9 of Jeremiah 30, and it reads, instead, it says, we're going to go to 8. In that day, Jeremiah chapter 30, verse 8, in that day declares the Most High of the army. So the Most High is saying this is a future date. He is also proclaiming that this is a war prophecy because he is referring to himself as the host. I will break the yoke from off your neck and I will rip off your bonds. That's what we've been talking about this whole time. This is why I named it, hey, fear of the unknown keeps you in slavery. The fear of the unknown keeps you in slavery. The Most High is saying that I'm going to break these bonds. What are the bonds? The bonds is the economic system that the world is operating on. Yes, it is. That's the bonds. It started with the transatlantic slave trade to make this nation great. The Africans sold the Negroes, the Bantus, to the British, who was coming here to plant their 13 colonies. The Spanish and the French was already trading with the Aboriginal here in the South. When they made their move and went to war, when Britain went to war with Spain and France and us, because we was trading with them, we was working well with the French and the Spanish at the time, went to war with us, it set out this scenario and global economics as we know it. So we, as I stated, we are the gross national product of this nation and of this beast system. That's why the Most High says, I'm going to break these bonds. You were brought here in bondage. The ones that were here was put in bondage. We as Hebrews believe that many of the northern tribes came here prior to the southern tribes in the transatlantic slave trade. We have proof with Abu Bakr and others, but that's neither here nor there. But understanding that when the Most High is saying that I'm going to break the bonds, he's speaking directly of the transatlantic slave trade. He's speaking directly of the economic system that was borrowed from the Reconquista slave trade, the Islamic slave trade that fed into the transatlantic slave trade. These were the economic systems that were put in place, period. I see Medea in the building. These are the bonds that the Most High is saying in that day, as a warrior, I am going to break. Now, if you're sitting up here not wanting these bonds to be broken, you're sitting here praying for a nation that is the bond in which the Most High is breaking, and you're praying against the Most High. Then you are letting your fears supersede what the Father has told and he has for you. Did you think praising this nation will be going against your Creator? Well, you should know that on this evening. You should have a clear understanding. Your desire for this economic system to stay in place, for this global economics, for the governance to stay as is. Your fear of Russia, your fear of China, your fear, I don't give a good goddamn. We ain't got no fear. We understand that the global economics is set upon our bonds of our neck. And the Most High is claiming that he's going to break it, and he is breaking it. It's not a question. They're going to tell you that it's Russia doing it, it's China's doing it. I'm telling you, it's written who's doing it. And it says, I will rip off your bonds. Strangers shall no longer make slaves of them. Instead, they shall serve the Most High, their Creator, and David, Dawid, the king whom I will rise up for them. Your taxes proves to you that you're a slave. You are taxed when you come in, when you go out, when you stand still. Your tributes, your captivity, the fact that you are allowing someone to dictate how much you make off of what you produce, it's captivity. When the Most High says that the strangers have made you slaves, that they are the ones that are profiting from you. It says, instead, they shall serve the Most High. So as I've been reading from Ezekiel to Jeremiah to Psalms to Proverbs to Psalms, that we are in the process of being fashioned right now. It is not him coming through the sky. It is no rapture. There is none of those things. He is moving and he is doing it now. His presence is now. He's moving and cultivating and shaping you right now. You're listening. You're hearing this maybe for the first time. He says that David will be raised up from the grave. You've been told that somebody else is going to come out the sky. You've been told that someone else is going to be your savior. The Most High says, I'm the one that's breaking it. I'm going to take you out of these strangers, and I'm going to raise a king for you, the one you already know. He says, but you have no fear. My servant Jacob declares Shaddai. Be not dismayed. It says here, fear of the unknown keeps you in slavery. Do not be afraid. I will deliver you from far away, meaning that he's not going to come out the cloud and let you see him. He's not going to do what they Christians have told you, come in the flesh and allow you to string him up on a cross. And Galatians 3:13, it says hung him by a tree. However you want to go with, doesn't matter. It wasn't the creator. He says, I'm going to save you from afar. It's not going to be in your presence. He has volcanoes. He has hurricanes. He has tsunamis. He has everything at his or its disposal to destroy man, to destroy systems as he chooses. You already heard FEMA say it didn't have any money when the next hurricane was coming. If you had wildfires, hurricanes, volcanoes, all at one time, break the government without even having a war. You understand how fragile this whole ecosystem is? If we as a people didn't go to work, to stop participating in the system itself, it would fall. It don't even have to be the volcano. It ain't even got to be an earthquake. It could be a collective conscious. A collective conscious. No, they got Brother Negro Unchained. Look here, the Negro. Let me explain something to you, the Negro. You are talking from the New Testament. I don't subscribe to the New Testament. So if you think that I'm going to refer to anything of the New Testament, I'm not. The Most High says when he will roll back the scroll of the sky is when he have destroyed everything, and Leviathan has come and chewed all things up, and he creates a whole new kingdom here. Partner, we talking about things that are going to precede that. Study to show thyself approved, the Negro. Understand that we are talking about this present day captivity that the Most High is going to from afar. So now you're telling me that the Jeremiah chapter 30 is an error. Not I. I'm only telling you what the Most High has written. And I'm not even paraphrasing. he says, I will deliver you from far away, your folk from the land of captivity. Yaakov shall again have claim, and quiet with none to trouble him. Yeah. For I am with you to deliver you, declares the Most High. I will make an end of all nations among which I have dispersed you. So do you believe, the Negro, that this has already happened? No. So the Most High is going to resurrect Dawid as our king. It will not be anything that was said in the New Testament of coming down and opening the sky. There is none. You gonna pray for my clarity? Thank you. Don't pray for me. I appreciate you. I don't need the prayers. So, and it says, I will make an end of all nations among which I have dispersed you. I will not make an end of you. I will not leave you unpunished. I will chastise you in measure. And this is for you, the Negro wives. It says, I will chastise you in measure. Your wounds are severe. The wound that's severe is Christianity. The wound that is severe is the doctrine that has been given to you as a slave, as being in captivity. And if you don't believe you're in captivity, then we truly are so far apart that the Most High says, I have nothing but freedom for you. I have nothing but the breath of life for you. The breath of life is not a system where man controls you and tells you that an image, which the Most High says in his commandments of Exodus chapter 19, the Negro, you have no image. None. So the thing that you saying is coming out of the sky is an image, is an idol. The Most High says, your wound is severe. Oh, so enemy can discredit the New Testament. So, well, you have to explain to yourself, the Negro, why Malachi is the last book. You have to explain to yourself, the Negro, why Daniel was told to shut the books up until the end times, when knowledge would be spread afar and abroad. You would then have to ask yourself why the original one was written in one language and then the second one is written in a different language. And then you would have to ask yourself why that second one is so intent on bringing someone else, the Gentiles, to having the same glory and same position as the people in the original one. So as much as you would like to not separate them, my goodness, there's so many separations. Whoa, y'all got to understand, when people think that these two books are the same thing and they're saying two directly opposite things, they are diametrically opposed to each other. One tells you a Holy Ghost, something that is dead. Something tells you to worship something that is dead. When the new one, the old one, the original one tells you that the life is already in you, that you have the breath, that you have the Ruach HaKodesh already. Already. You want me? Let's finish. So, verse 13, no one pleads for the healing of your sickness. No one. It says, there is no remedy, no recovery for you, for the ones that want to continue to mix oil and water. Mem is the Hebrew word for water. It's the beginning. It's the spring. The Most High created. He separated the one from the firmament, from the heavens and from beneath. It is the pure waters of his word. When he says, do not add anything new to my scripture, as is written in Proverbs chapter 30. You are stuck. I'm so glad you came on, the Negro, because this is the stumbling block. This is the incurable thing that the Most High has to cleanse us of. It is the very curse. It is the very severe wound that we have received. To believe that, to read something that is directly opposite of itself and to think it is the same can only be explained by brainwashing. It can only be explained by brainwashing. When you clearly read that Paul's letters, not prophecies, that Paul's letters are nothing but letters. And they are talking to people in Turkey. When I just showed you that we went into the interiors of Africa, Botswana, the Bantu people. Do you even know that when you call yourself the Negro? Do you even know that the word Negro came from Yahya ben Negro, which were the Hebrews in Spain? Do you even know that when you got the name that you're holding up? Do you understand that we know where our royal bloodline went? And it didn't go to Italy. It didn't go to Rome. Esau was in Rome. Esau was the ruler of Rome. Get your understanding, read and show yourself to be approved. Thank you, the Negro. Don't even know your own self got a name that don't even know where it comes from. Doesn't even know that it came from Spain, from a people that were then put in slavery, that was then sent here in the transatlantic slave trade, that fled there and came here as Huguenots, that came here and built things before it all went bad in 1492. When the Most High says that we got a severe wound, it's this religions, the Abrahamic faiths is the wound in which the Most High is going to cleanse all of his people from the Abrahamic faiths, from the devil's doctrine. Yeah. All the above. You're going to go back to his word. You're not going to talk to me about feelings. Don't pray for me with none of your names. Your spirit is horrible. And it says, there is no remedy, no recovery for you. All your lovers have forgotten you. They do not seek you out. For I have struck you as an enemy strikes with cruel chastisement. Because your iniquity was so great and your sin was so many. Why cry out over your iniquity that your wound is incurable? You believed in Baal, you believed in Asherah, you believed in all of these gods. You believed in Jesus, you believed in every Greek god, you believed in every Moabite god, you believed in Moloch, you believed in all of these, and I've told you over and over again through scripture that I will destroy all of them, and I will destroy you for following them. And we have gotten nothing but so many examples of it. So many. He says, verse 16, assuredly, all who wanted to devour you shall be devoured, and every one of your foes shall go into captivity. That's what we're talking about. Those who despoiled you shall be despoiled, and all who pillage you I will give up to pillage. But I will bring healing to you and cure you of your wounds. Excuse me, declares the Most High. Declares the Most High. Most High loves us. We are stricken with a wound, whether it be materialism, whether it be capitalism, whether it be racism, whether it be Christianity, religions. We've got to get back to simply loving the law of the Most High, loving righteousness, and building on the simple, beautiful flower that the Most High has given us. We have to break down some of this technology, break away from this new age thinking. We need to step back from these high intellectuals and meditate on the simple truth. On a simple truth. Let it speak to you. That's why the Most High asks you to meditate on it. He didn't ask you to meditate to call on gods. He didn't ask you to meditate to ask for things. He didn't tell you to meditate on the thing that you want, to visualize your success. He asked you to meditate to understand these words. Nah, it ain't always understandable just reading through it. Nah, it ain't always understandable just getting the hyperbolic parts. Nah, it ain't about just being able to respond to someone. It's about you having a deep emotional connection to the words that are being written so that your spirit can speak to you about it. That's what it's about. And I pray to the Most High that He opens the minds, ears, and the hearts so that they can be vessels for His word. Not my word, not my rant, not my anger, not my love, not my niceties, not my short tongue. None of me. His word. What He says. All who wanted to devour you shall be devoured. And every one of your foes shall go into captivity. Those who despoiled you shall be despoiled, and all who pillage you I will give up to be pillaged. But I will bring healing to you and cure your wounds, declares Shaddai. Though they called you outcast, niggas, though they called you niggas, that Zion, whom no one seeks out, thus says Shaddai, I will restore the fortunes of Jacob, of Jacob's tents, and have compassion upon his dwellings. The city shall be rebuilt on its mound. We have mounds here. We built mounds here. We built mounds there. Same people. And a fortress in its proper place. From them shall issue thanksgiving and the sound of dancers. I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. You're afraid of some of us dying. You're afraid that war comes and some gonna die. Most High said, I'm gonna make you plentiful. I'm gonna increase. I will make them honored, and they shall not be humbled. Whoa, and they shall not be humbled. Humbled by who? By other men. We're always going to be humbled by the Most High, but humbled by any other nation. His children shall be as of old, and his community shall be established by my grace, and I will deal with all his oppressors. So the Most High says he's going to deal with all our oppressors. I know you are clear that we're in an oppressive state. I think that's why they're afraid of Project 2025, right? That's why all of a sudden there was a plan that Kamala came up with when before she said that she ain't had none. She wasn't doing nothing particularly for the oppressed people. Why is she doing anything for niggas? Why is she doing anything for specifically black people? Because they've been the ones that's been specifically oppressed. And we want to know what you're going to do for the lowest class. Oh, you're going to run on middle class. We ain't middle class. The majority of our people are not middle class. You got one inside the family that's balling. And you may have a family or two that come from the old regard. You know what I mean by the old regards. The Kamalas. The Jamaican Irish that had slaves. And I will deal with all his oppressors. His chieftain shall be one of his own, His rulers shall come from his midst. I will bring them near. And they said that he may approach me, declares the Most High Shaddai. For who would otherwise dare to approach me? Most High is saying, if you're not doing this righteousness, if you ain't been cleansing yourself, if you ain't been getting your mind right and understanding what I got for you and preparing yourself to be in that position, then why would you even think to approach me? These wicked nations are going down. You see it. It's clear. It says, for who otherwise would dare approach me? You shall be my people, and I will be your Shaddai. Lo, the storm of the Most High goes forth in fury and raging tempest. It shall whirl down upon the head of the wicked. The anger of the Most High shall not turn back. The anger of the Most High shall not turn back till it has fulfilled and completed his purpose. In the days to come, you shall perceive it. In the days to come, the Negro Unchained shall perceive it. And at that time, declares the Most High, I will be your creator to all the clans of Yasharallah, and they shall be my people. Not just Yasharallah, that's the 12 tribes, but the clans, the multitudes that will see the clarity of us and the Most High's law and his, yes, and his prophecies. All praises to the Most High, man. The young man left the room stating that I did not enlighten him. Maybe the Most High will. I see Milton in the building. That is our lesson for tonight. I came on early. I got to do a little work, so I want to make sure that the Most High's work is done first and foremost. So all praise to the Most High. We will see you guys on Shabbat. That's right. You all know tomorrow is the How's Eve. I don't think, like I said, this is like the 6th or 7th year of us doing Hebrew State of Being. And we've done Sam and done all of the reasons why, Halloween is not just a fun holiday, that is actually connected to sorcery and witchcraft and so forth. I didn't feel a need, and the Most High didn't put it upon spirit to a lesson on that. The Most High wanted me to understand that you guys should be scared enough with the world that's going on that you need to know where to put that fear. To put that fear in the Most High and his law, and not on the smooth words of New Testaments, the smooth words of these governments, the smooth words of our captivity, but to come back unto him, to come back unto his prophecies, come back unto his law, come back unto the love that he has for us. His love is unchained. His love is no bounds to it, no limitations, no date of expiration. He's just waiting for us. All praise unto the Most High, Shaddai, Ahaya, Mishalom.